BestBookBits.com presents Black Box Thinking, Marginal Gains and the Secrets of High Performance by Matthew Syed, columnist for The Times and best-selling author of Bounce, The Myth of Talent and the Power of Practice. Matthew Syed argues that the key to success is a positive attitude to failure. What links the Mercedes Formula One team with Google? What links Team Sky and the aviation industry? What connects James Dyson and David Beckham? They are all black box thinkers. Black box thinking is a new approach to high performance, a means of finding an edge in a complex and fast-changing world. It is not just about sport, but has a powerful implications for business and politics, as well as for parents and students. In other words, all of us. Drawing on a dazzling array of case studies and real-world examples, together with cutting-edge research on marginal gains, creativity, and grit, Matthew Syed tells the inside story of how success really happens and how we cannot grow unless we are prepared to learn from our mistakes. The written and audio summary can be found on our website, bestbookbits.com. So without further ado, I bring you the book summary of Black Box Thinking. The book in 3 sentences. Number 1, success can only happen when we confront our mistakes. Number 2, the more people die from mistakes made by doctors and hospitals than from traffic accidents. And number 3, aviation, on the other hand, has created an astonishing good safety record because mistakes are learned from rather than concealed. The 5 big ideas. Number 1, the single greatest obstacle to progress is failing to learn from mistakes. Number 2, a cornerstone to success is a progressive attitude to failure. Number 3, only by redefining failure will we unleash progress, creativity, and resilience. And number 4, when we are confronted with evidence that challenges our deeply held belief, we are more likely to reframe the evidence than we are to alter our beliefs. And number 5, marginal gains is not about making small changes and hoping they fly. Rather, it is about breaking down a big problem into small parts in order to rigorously establish what works and what doesn't. What is black box thinking? According to Syed, black box thinking is about the willingness and tenacity to investigate the lessons that often exist when we fail, but which we rarely exploit. Furthermore, it is about creating systems and cultures that enable organizations to learn from errors rather than being threatened by them. Black box thinking summary. A failure to learn from mistakes has been one of the single greatest obstacles to human progress. A progressive attitude to failure turns out to be a cornerstone of success for any institution. Society as a whole has a deeply contradictory attitude to failure. Even as we find excuses for our own failings, we are quick to blame others who mess up. It is partly because we are so willing to blame others for their mistakes that we are so keen to conceal our own. We anticipate with remarkable clarity how people will react, how they will point the finger, how little time they will take to put themselves in tough, high-pressure situation in which the error occurred. The net effect is simple. It obliterates openness and spawns cover-ups. It destroys the vital information we need in order to learn. Only by redefining failure will we unleash progress, creativity, and resilience. So just to re-emphasize, for our purposes, a closed loop is where failure doesn't lead to progress because information on errors and weakness is misinterpreted or ignored. An open loop does lead to progress because the feedback is rationally acted upon. In each case, the investigators realized that crews were losing their perception of time. Attention, it turns out, is a scarce resource. If you focus on one thing, you will lose awareness of other things. The problem was not a lack of diligence or motivation, but a system insensitive to the limitations of human psychology. When people don't interrogate errors, they sometimes don't even know they have made one, even if they suspect they may have. The mnemonic which has been used to improve assertiveness of junior members of the crew in aviation is called PACE. Probe, Alert, Challenge, Emergency. Probe, Alert, Challenge, Emergency. Black box thinking is about creating systems and cultures that enable organizations to learn from errors rather than being threatened by them. In effect, practice is about harnessing the benefits of learning from failure while reducing its cost. It is better to fail in practice in preparation for the big stage than on the big stage itself. This is true of organizations too, which conduct pilot schemes and in the case of aviation and other safety critical industries, test ideas in simulators in order to learn before rolling out new ideas or procedures. The more we can fail in practice, the more we can learn, enabling us to succeed when it really matters. When we are confronted with evidence that challenges our deeply held beliefs, we are more likely to reframe the evidence than we are to alter our beliefs. We simply invent new reasons, new justifications, new explanations. Sometimes we ignore the evidence altogether. Cognitive dissonance occurs when mistakes are too threatening to admit to, so they are reframed or ignored. This can be thought of as an internal fear of failure, how we struggle to admit mistakes to ourselves. The problem today, he says, is that we operate with a ballistic model of success. The idea is that once you've identified a target, creating a new website, designing a product, improving a political outcome, you come up with a really clever strategy designed to hit the bullseye. Professor Lane recommends an entirely different concept of success, the guided missile approach. Success is not just dependent on before the event reasoning, it is also about the after trigger adaptation. In the absence of data, narrative is the best we have. Marginal gains is not about making small changes and hoping they fly. Rather, it is about breaking down a big problem into small parts in order to rigorously establish what works and what doesn't. Creativity is, in many respects, a response. If we wish to fulfill our potentials as individuals and organizations, we must redefine failure. And that's a wrap on Black Box Thinking. Subscribe to the channel and take a look at the hundreds of book summaries uploaded previously. To find hundreds of written summaries, check out our website, bestbookbits.com. And for hundreds of audio summaries, find us on mixcloud.com/bestbookbits. If you want to help and be a contributor, get involved in the channel by reading a book, writing a summary, and emailing us at info@bestbookbits.com to have it featured. Thanks for watching and listening, and have yourself an amazing day. Take care.